it is. Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Good evening once again, guys. Sorry for my volume. I'll try as much as possible to speak loud, and I'll try as much as possible to be fast also, so that we can get what we need to get into this class. So today we are going to be talking about what UI UX design is, right? And what you need to know about UI UX design. So I know most of us already know what UI UX design is. Some of us are already designing. Some of us maybe are just hearing it for the first time. So if you are hearing it for the first time, you can just listen. If you've heard about it before, it's going to be like a refresher, right? So, what is UI UX design? I would have asked each and every one of us, like, maybe just in your own word, what UI UX design is, but because of time, I won't be able to go through all of that, right? Because we're trying to work with time. But as time goes on, I'll try to ask questions, and I'll need us to also respond as fast as possible. Right. So let me just even say what UI UX design is before I talk about the difference between UI. So UI stands for user interface, and then UX stands for user experience, right? So when you talk about user interface, we're referring to um, the interface of any um, design or any application, any website, anything that you interact with, right? It's called the interface. So I don't just want to limit it to applications, because we have interfaces on car dashboards. We're getting more of digitalized dashboard nowadays, so you can see those digitalized dashboards are interface too, right? So we have watches like smartwatch, those are interface also. You have smart TVs, those are interface also, right? So it's not just limited to mobile application or websites, right? So it's cut across every form of digital, um, every digital interface. Let me just put it that way, right? So what is UX? UX talks about the experience, right? The experience you get when using a product, when using any digital platform, right? So UI is the interface and UX is the experience. And when it comes to UX, you experience different things with different products, right? For example, we have products who um, do almost the same thing. If you talk about the food industry, or talk about delivery or logistics, you have companies who do the same thing. For example, let's say for delivery and all of that, you have Chowdeck, you have Glovo, or you have people who prefer Glovo more than Chowdeck. I have one of them on this call, you know himself. I don't know why I prefer Glovo more than Chowdeck, but I still feel Chowdeck is, well, let me not say that. But yeah, the reason why he prefers Glovo more than Chowdeck is because of the experience that he gets from it. And I've been convincing him for a while that he should use Chowdeck, but he will never agree. But I'm just saying that is because he chose Glovo because of the experience. So when you talk about UX, it's the experience that the user feel when using the products, right? So you like this more than this is because of the experience you feel. And then experience cut across not just even the interface can give you an experience out, right? So that's also that's so we're going to move into difference between UI and UX. Can we all see hear me? Let me be sure that I'm not talking to myself.
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So we're going to move to difference between UI and UX, right? And I've also talked about it briefly when I talked about UX meaning user experience and UI meaning user interface, right? So we have UI design. UI design focuses on visual interactive elements of a product to create aesthetically pleasing interface, right? So the buttons, the text, the font size, the colors, all of those things, yeah, the UI, right? So focus on the visual. right? I think when I started designing, I think when I wanted to transition into UI UX design, right, that was in around 2019, 2020. It was 2020 I fully transitioned. And backstory, the reason why I transitioned into UI UX design was because I used to do graphic design, and I was hired by one company on Monday. They fired me on Friday, so I worked from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On Friday, they gave me sack later. So that made me wanted to go and learn more about what UX design is, right? But as at then, there was something called visual designers, right? So those people, it's still there, but people don't really use that name, right? Because I remember them when I was doing research. And visual designers, those people focus on just UI, right? They don't do UX. So that's why you see UI design focuses on visuals, interactive elements of the product to create aesthetically pleasing interface. So make sure it must be aesthetically pleasing. I'll just say. Alright, so UX design focuses on creating seamless and meaningful user experience by understanding user needs. Right, so you can see seamless. Make sure your design is creating seamless and meaningful user experience by understanding the user needs. So there is no way you can create a seamless and meaningful user experience if you do not understand the user needs. So one of the things you want to put into consideration whenever you want to start a design or you want to start selling products or anything, you need to understand the user needs. I know most times we say, okay, we want to design something, we want to do this, we want to do that, but we don't understand user needs. And then when people ask us questions, we are like kind of like confused because we don't know, or you ship it to the market and then it's not meeting anybody needs, right? So you understand user needs, conducting research and designing intuitive interface, right? So we are also conducting research. So this is what a UX designer does, right? I think nowadays we have people do both, but in a very large industry or in a very large company, you have the UX designer separate from the UI designer because I mean they are working on the whole lots. Like let's say for example, companies like big companies like Amazon, Tesla, Apple, Google, and all of that, right? So you have UX different from UI because you can't. It will be difficult to do both, right? So yeah, but in Nigeria here or in startup, you do both. So UX, you can see UX, you can see UI, and then there is a part where they meet together, right? So UX focuses on product strategy, user research, information architecture, testing and iteration, and then UI focus on color theory, typography, design pattern, interactive, and animation, right? So all those animation you see, the design pattern you see, the typography that you like, the color theory, it all falls under the category of it all falls under the UI. And then the product strategy, the US research, the information architecture, the testing and iteration, it falls under the UX, right? So it's the reason why you feel some people say, okay, I like both more than InDrive, and some people say I like Uber more than um, I don't know, Uber more than both. I mean, if you see their product strategy is different from each other, right? Like you have so many companies do the same thing, but the strategy that they use is different from the other. So there's a part whereby they both meet together, which is the empathy, collaboration, design thinking, and prototyping. Right. So it means that the UI designer also needs to understand empathy, also needs to understand collaboration, design thinking, and prototyping. So when you talk about empathy, it means that you are feeling what the people who you are designing for are feeling, like you put yourself in their shoes. That's what empathy basically talks about. Then collaboration, design thinking, prototyping, all those are also like other aspects of design process, right? So this that you see here is the design life cycle, right? So you go from empathy to collaboration to design thinking to prototyping. Sometimes it goes from this to this to this to this, but sometimes it goes zigzag, right? You can go back from prototyping, you can go back to empathy. It goes like that. But I don't want to like overwhelm us with so many information, so you just need to understand what's the UX and what the UI is. Right. So, what does UI design involve? Like user experience design. User interface User interface design is a motivated and challenging role. It is responsible for the transference of products, development, research, content, and layout into an attractive, guiding, and responsive experience for users. So everything that you have received from the UX designer, because UX designers will always do the research, they'll go to the field, interview the interview people that they need to interview before coming back to design, right? And in some cases, you'll be the one that will do both the UX and the UI, right? For example, myself and Francis work together, right? I remember we were working on products for POS, and before we started working on the POS, and one of the things we did was we went to meet people, merchants who, what's it called? They use POS. We met a merchant who was using Money Points. We met another merchant who was using OPay. We met another merchant who was using PubPay. And we asked them different questions. We just wanted to know what, how it feels to use this and why they prefer this product more than this product. So we gain insight from that before we started designing. So this is what a UI designer is going to interpret all of those research, all of those findings, all of those analytics into creating an attractive design, guiding and responsive experience for the user, right? So what does UX design involve? UX designer thinks about how the experience makes the user feel and how easy it is for the user to accomplish their desired tasks. They also observe and conduct stats analysis and see how users actually complete the tasks in user flow. So these were some of the things that we also did when we were conducting those research for the POS application. So UI tags and responsibilities, right? The tags of UI designers and the responsibilities. So the look and feel of the products. That's the tags of the UI designer, right? You are tasked to make the look and feel of products come out well. So some of the responsibility, customer analysis, brand research, branding and graphic development, user guides and storytelling. Those are some of your tasks and your responsibilities. Then responsiveness and interactivity. So via prototyping, interactivity and animation, adaptation to all device and screen. So you don't just design for just one. You design for mobile, you design for web, or you design for desktop. Let me put it that way. Mobile for desktop. You may also design for tab. It depends on the products. You may design for tab also, and then you can also design for different devices. For example, most times designers we just design for iOS. We don't design for Android. If you work in some companies, you'll be asked to design for Android separately from iOS. Right? So yeah, that's for adaptation of screen. Then implementation with developers. This is where it gets a little bit serious because you're going to also interact with developers. Sometimes you may want to kill them, but sometimes you just need to love them in the sense that they might not do what you design, but also as a designer, you need to design something that your developer can understand, which means that you need to communicate with your developer, carry them along through the process, let them know what you're doing so that they can start creating endpoints ahead of time. So it doesn't just you don't just finish design and ship it to them and they're wondering like what is. So one of the things you do is you tell them what you're doing and then they start creating endpoints. I mean, we do that a lot. Myself and Francis, whenever we're working on any project, we also bring the developers along and then they tell us, okay, I think you should do this or do that, or we should do this so that it's easier for them. Right. Then UX tasks and responsibilities. Wireframing and prototyping. This is where you do your sketching. This is where you do your user flow. This is where you do your IA, that's information architecture, and all of that. So you do prototyping, testing, and iteration. So testing and iteration is also very important in the sense that after you've designed, you have to test and you have to iterate. This is where you give it to the testers, right? Those people who test. And yeah, that's QA. They call them QA. Quality assurance people. Then development and planning is where the talk with developers. You guys plan how you're going to deploy and all of that. Then another responsibility is strategy and content, right? right? So you're looking at your competitor analysis, like who are those people who are doing the same thing, right? How are you going to come into the market? What are you going to do differently? So you analyze your competitors, right? And then customer analysis and user research. Quick check-in. Are we still hearing me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Oh, just I just wanted to be sure everyone was quiet. So okay.
Right.
So customer analysis and user research, right? You need to analyze your customer. Like you don't just build a product and sell it to the market. I mean, nobody will use your product except just you and probably your partner or your wife or your husband. Your family might not use it. So product structure and strategy, right? You need to structure your product and then you need to strategize how you are going to go into the market. You don't just push out the product to the market. You strategize because whatever you want to do, there are a whole lot of people who are doing it. So your strategy is also very important. There's something that is going on the internet about the World Cup and this brand called Levi. It's a jean brand, I mean a denim brand. And you know that World Cup covered their logo, right? Because they were not sponsors of the World Cup. And when they covered it was obvious that that was Levi. And what they did was they used that as a strategy to also push their products. I mean, you can go and search it on the internet, and you can see that they're using that as a strategy to push their products. If you go to their social media, you'll see that they've covered their logo with white and all of that. So, I mean, that's also understanding strategy and all of that. Then content development, we live in a world whereby everything revolves around content. So, yeah. The execution and analytics, coordination with UI designers. That's if you are a UX designer, apart from a UI designer, like you work solely as a UX designer, so you need to coordinate with your UI designer. But if you are the one doing UI and UX together, you can coordinate with yourself. Then coordination with developers. This one is very important. Like you coordinate with your developers so that you guys do not get into issues. Track goals and integration. It's also important. Tracking goals and integration. Then UX analysis and iteration. That is also important. So you can see UX designer, UX designer, interaction designer, visual designer. So UX designer is usually called interaction designer, and then the UI designer is called the visual designer. So they choose color and typography, they plan visual aesthetics, experts, mockups, and graphics. Experts in wireframe, prototype research, plan information architecture, and then chart the user pathway. Right. So you can see the UI versus the UX. So you have valuable, useful, um, certifiable, convenient, credible, variable. Everything is go. And then for UI, we have color scheme, content, buttons, forms, image, layouts, typography. Right? So these are the things you have when it comes to UI aspects. So I hope I'll be able to convince and not confuse you that UI UX design is for you and you should consider it. Anyways, yeah. So that's all about what UI UX is. Yep. Is there any question so far? I knew it was really fast because we're trying to keep. Also, what formats do we use to analyze our customer to analyze our customer to help us understand how better to deliver? I mean, you ask them questions. You can create a questionnaire, right? And then you ask them questions like direct questions. So we have different type of questions. We have close-ended questions. We have open-ended questions. So you also need to create both close-ended questions and open-ended questions, right? So close-ended questions are those questions that are just the answer is just yes or no. So it's either negative or positive. That's close-ended. They're not explaining anything. And then open-ended questions are the ones you ask them to like say whatever they feel like saying. Right. So yeah, you have those two. I don't know if I answered that question correctly. Can we get the study material, please? You were too fast. I couldn't follow through with jotting. Yeah, I would. I'll work on getting a slide to us. Any other question? No, I wasn't able to record this class. Francis, did you record?
Yes, I did. I did. I recorded it.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Okay.
Not sure that was record. So,
Okay.
there's no more question, right? So, I believe we understood this.
Okay. Thank you
Alright,
so
guys.
much, Jeff, for putting us through on what UI UX is. I believe we were able to, get at least a basic understanding of what UI and UX is. Simply put, UI is user interface, and UX is user experience. User interface is what you see, UX is how you feel, right? That's the easiest way to like remember it. So when you're designing, you have to think about what people are seeing and how they are feeling when they're actually using that product, right? So now I'm going to be moving on to the practical aspect of things. So I would need us to be absolutely attentive, because this isn't something about, oh, go back or come back or something. We need to be as attentive as possible so that we can easily understand how to start designing, and what to do, right? So I'm just going to go into it now. Just give me a second. Confirm if you can see my screen. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, yes, that's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Okay, so what we are going to be doing during the 5 days of this class is we are going to be designing this landing page. So I made it as simple as possible, but with some colors, right? And I want us to, it's just very simple, a very simple landing page. And I don't understand, your screen shouldn't be black. I'm not understanding that. Okay, as I was saying, this is just a simple landing page. So we have the hero section, we have the featured products, we have shop collection, we have what our customers say. This is just the testimonial aspect, and then we have a simple footer, right? Just 5 sections. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So today we are only going to be doing this first section, and I'm going to be telling us how we are going to get it started. So this is the design I did here on Figma, as you can see it. So let's assume I'm starting from scratch, right? The first thing, let me first explain a little bit of the tools around Figma so that you can maybe understand. So here is obviously the name of our file, right? And these are just the different pages I've created in Figma already. And here is it. When we want to design, this is where we design, like this whole blank board. This is where we design. And then when you click on prototype, we'll still get into that later on, but for now let's focus on designing. And these other ones, we're still going to focus on them later on. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to design, right? So we click on F, right? Or if you don't want to click on F, if you click on F, for instance, on your keyboard, F. And please, for this class, just pay attention. Don't bother trying to design while I'm designing. You will lose track. So you click on F on your keyboard. Now it will show you like different frames, right? What we want to design is a desktop frame. So we're going to click on desktop here, and then you can see this desktop here, right? Can you guys see my screen? Please confirm if you can.
Sorry, someone has a question. Their hand has been raised up.
Okay, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I complained about this thing because I think you are using a dark theme, and when we are using our phone to join the link, it is kind of dark. I don't know if I'm the only one experiencing that.
Like, you mean the art board, like the black? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you are using a dark theme. Yeah,
Okay.
the dark theme.
Okay, maybe I'll just, I'm used to working like that. Is this better? Is this better?
don't understand what I'm talking about.
You're talking about this whole.
Yes, okay, yes. It's better now.
Okay.
At least you can see the. Yeah, it's better.
Okay. No problem. Okay, so I'll go ahead. So, is there every other person good? Are we clear before I start? Okay, thank you. So, are we good to this point? We are, right? Okay, thank you. So, as I said, you click on F on your keyboard, and I would like us to also jot some things down because it will help you later on. They are just like a few shortcuts that can help you out. So, you click on F, and then I said you should go to desktop. Sorry, can you mute your mic? Yeah, thanks. So you can click on desktop. Once you click on desktop, this shows, right? So this is a frame. This is called a frame, right? Now the first thing we want to do is we want to design this section, right? Yeah, this section. So what are we going to do? We can start with the text. I like to start with basic things, right? We can start with this text here. So if you want to write a text or anything, click on T, letter T, right? T for text. You tap on that, it shows like this, and then you tap on your frame. Can you see that? So now I can write, what's the text here? Shop smarter, live better. So I'm just going to write shop smarter and live better, right? So I said we click on letter T to write. Now can you see this here? Let me move this to this other side. Now can we see this here, right? This is, if you click on our text, we can see this is the name of our font. This is the font type, which is a regular font, and then we can now increase the size of this font. So now it's currently 12, but we can increase it to maybe, let's say 64, right? Let's say 64 for instance, just giving an example, right? Now that is like this. Can you see that? So now we have been able to create a text. The first we did was create a frame, and next was creating a text. Now this is called a header text. This is the first text that you can see, right? And then this is like a subtext, right? This is the header text, this is a subtext. And by the way, I don't think I said it, but we are designing a hero section. So the hero section is the first thing you see when you open on a website or a landing page, right? That's the first section you see. So it should be captivating enough to lure people into your design, right? Or I mean into your website or into your products. So now we have been able to write the first text, which is shop smarter. And what fonts did we use here? I used Cabinet Grotesque, right? So I can change it as well to Cabinet Grotesque. Cabinet. So mind you, I've installed all these fonts before, so that's why I currently have them. Cabinet Grotesque, and I think I used black as the font type, so I can just change that. Maybe use black, right? And I think I use 74 instead, right? So this is how it is currently, like this. Now we are also going to go to the subtext. Like I said, this is the subtext. Can you see this? So I'm just going to copy this, copy, right? Now to duplicate, let's say we wanted to duplicate. So if you want to duplicate this text, you can hold on your Alt key on your keyboard, right? Alt key on your keyboard and drag it down. Can you see that? Now you have been able to duplicate a text, right? Now if you want to include the subtext, what we'll do is double tap on this. You know, I've copied something before, and I'm just going to Control V. Sorry, Control V. Can you see that? Now I just copied this exact text that was here and I put it here. Are we all following? Thumbs up please. Thumbs up, thumbs up. I don't want to lose anybody. Okay, we are good. So the next thing is I'm starting with text, and then I'll slowly go into the other things. Now the text size is what, 20. So let's go with the same text size here. So to change the text size, you just come here, 20, right? And then you can put it there like that. So now we have sorry about that. we have our header text, and then we have our sub text, right? The next thing we have here is what? Our button, right? If they want to show up or anything, they should have a button. It's called a CTA button, which is called call to action, right? So there's a call to action button. So what I always do, I always advise people to use frames. I always advise people to use frames. Frames is always good because it helps you to keep things compact, and I'll explain now, but through my design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this button now, right? I'm going to create this button now. Jeff does not like frames. I do. I love frames a lot. He does not like frames. So now what did I say we are going to use to duplicate? I said we are going to click on our alt key and drag down, or you can just do the normal Control C Control V, which is copy and paste. You said you can't see my screen. I think is there any other person that can't see my screen? Yeah, I think it's just you. Maybe try leaving and reconnecting back. Okay, so now we are trying to create a button, right? And I said you can either duplicate using alt and drag it down, or we can do Control C and then Control V. Can you see that? If you drag it down, we have created two now. Can you see that? It's easy. Now the next thing is we want to create a button, and we said the button is shop now, right? Now we're just going to write it there, shop now. Can you see that? Now I've created a text, but now I want to turn this text into a button. I want to turn this text into a button. So what do? I just click Shift A on my keyboard, and now you can see that it has this border around it. Can you guys see it? It has this border around it. Let me take it back so that you can see this is it. Normally it's just a normal text, but if I do Shift A and make it a frame, can you see that it has this border around it now? Can you guys see that? Thumbs up if you can see it. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to put a color to this frame. We have created a frame. Now we are going to put a color. Now how do you put a color? Can you see this fill? Just like you are filling something in. Once you click on this button, this add fill, tap on it, then you can see this is currently on white. So if you drag it to red, you can see it is red. If you drag it to black, it is black, and you can change the color to whatever you want. So there's a color I used in the previous one, which is this. Okay, we use something like blue here, so I can copy the same color and paste it here. Can you see? This is the color we are currently using, so I can just change the color like this, or I can come here. You can see where this color is, and I can just change it to another color. Can you see that? So now I've changed it to another color, maybe like pink, right? That is the first step. So we have done text, and button, right? Text, and button, and now you can see it's aligned. I like to align it well. Can you see this line here? It shows that they are all left aligned. They are all aligned together. Yes, I'll do that, but I think I need to go ahead so that I think I'll do that at the end. Glory. Okay, so now we have done the first text, subtext, and now the button. Now I'll go into this shape and this yes, the class is recorded, but it is going to be after 5 days. I said it on the group. I'm not sharing the link. I want everybody to listen, right? You would get it if you listen. So now I'm going to the shape. So now I've already gotten shapes before on my Figma, right? So I am going to just copy this from here. You can see I've copied some different shapes already. So let me say I use, which shape should I use? Maybe which shape did I use before? Let me use this one. Yeah, I just copy it and I go back to my page that I'm currently designing on, and then I'll just tap on the frame. This is the frame, and then Control V. Can you see that? Now I've added the frame in. I've added the shape into my frame, and I can expand it. Can you see that? I can expand it just like that. Can you see? So now I've done shapes. I've brought in the shape, I've brought in the text, and I've brought in a CTA button. Now let me quickly go over the CTA button I said, which is this. To create a CTA button, I'm going to delete this and do it again. Ctrl C. Let me just delete and take it back to a text. Now it is back to a text. We are all following, right? And I said click on Shift A. Shift A makes it a what? A frame. Now it's what you need to do is put a fill, put colors into it, add a color, and then you can shift the color. Do you understand? That is basically what we are doing, and we have been able to create a frame, and we have been able to create a button from that. Can you see that? So now we have been able to do button, a text, and we brought in a shape. Right, so don't worry about the shape for now. You can always get shapes on Figma community and the rest, but for now just worry about text and this button. Now the next thing we need to do is this header. Can you see this header? What would they call it? It's like header for the navigation, right? So all these things here, home, product, about, you're going to put it there, and then this is the name of our website. It's called Shopper. So now the first thing we can do is we can just use a frame. Like I said, you click on F and then you drag from the left to the right like that. Can you see that? And then, as I said, if you want to make this thing have a color, you go to what? Fill, and you tap on it. Now it is all white, but if I want to make it another color, can you see it? It is currently changing. Can you see that? So now we have a fill of this. This is the navigation bar. Are you guys understanding? Thumbs up for me, please, if you guys are clear on to this point. Okay, good. Please be jotting down as you are saying these things, because will give you an assignment. So I want everybody to follow and jot down, right? Please. Okay, you don't need to understand the shape. It's just something I brought in to explain. You don't need to understand the shape for now. Okay, so the next thing is we can even do without the shape. If the shape is distracting you, we can do without the shape. Now what are we doing? So I said the navigation bar, right? So what we need to do is we want to create this home, products, about, and contact. And what did I say we need to use to create a text? What's the shortcut? Anybody? You can unmute your mic to create a text. C. Good. So you click on, we want the text to be inside this frame, remember. So you click on the frame and click on letter C, right? And write what? Home. Can you see that? You can click on let and we write home. So we have written the first one, which is home. The next one is what? Products, about us, and contact. So as I said before, you can do Ctrl C and what? Ctrl V, and you just shift it. Sorry, can you see that? Now we have home again. You can just remove this and write about. Can you see that? Next is what? Product. Ctrl C and Ctrl V, and we shift it again to the right, and we have what? Product. Can you see that? Next one is what? Contact. Ctrl C and Ctrl V, you shift it again to the right, and what do we have? Contact. Right now you can see we have been able to do what? Write the navigation bars: home, products, about, and contact us. Right now the next thing we need to do is we want to write this shopper too, Abby. This shopper, which is the name of our website. So we can duplicate this again, Ctrl C and what? Ctrl V, and move it where? To the right, like that, right? And then you write what? Shopper. but there's something I needed to have explained to you from the start, which I feel like I'm still going to do that right now. Now, if you look at this design, you'll see that everything is like aligned. Everything is like aligned. Even here too, everything is aligned like that. Can you see that? Now, for you to be able to achieve that and for you to be able to have a good design, what you can start with is you have what they call layout grid. Layout grid, right? So you can see it here. Can you see it? So now if I want to have that on my frame so it will guide us so that we can be designing, we will not go out of frame, you click on this desktop, right? And then you scroll down here. Can you see this layout guide? Thumbs up if you can see it. Layout guide, can you guys see it? Okay, I want a lot of thumbs up. So okay, JJ cannot see it. I don't know why you cannot see it though, but I think every other person can see it. So you'll add on this layout guide, right? And then you can see this is called grid. So we have columns and we have what, you can switch this, and we have rows. So rows are like this, but what we want now is like this. We want columns, so we go down here and click on columns. Now we want here and this place to have maybe a margin. You know what a margin is now? When we have you know, our books that time in secondary school, they will say you should leave a margin before you start writing. So that's the same thing here as well. So here we want to leave a margin at the left side and also at the right side. So now we are going to just increase the margin. Can you see this? Like that. Can you see that? So that it will guide us on how to design, and we don't design out of frame. Do you understand? Here, what did I use? I used 12 columns. Sorry. I used 12 columns, 100 margin. So you can use the same as well. You can come here. 100. This one is 90, so you can use 100 or you can leave it as 90, depending on what you want to design. Then now, can you see that? Now we can just move it and align it to it. Can you see that? Like that and like that. Here to remove this one so that it can align as well. So you can see that everything now is what, aligned like that. Even in this other place, if we are adding anything here, to be aligned as well. So now what we want to do is we are going to put this button on top here as well. So instead of it, I don't want us to get things too complicated with icons for now. So I think we can just use another CTA button. So Ctrl C, and then on this frame you could click what, Ctrl V, and then you slide it like that. Can you see that? So now we have this text, subtext, CTA button. CTA button, the name of our website, and the navigation bars. Do you understand? So now that's what we have been able to do. Now if I want to just add anything, I can just add the picture to the frame. And if I click on this desktop, right, if I click on the frame, this is a frame, I told you. So if you click on the frame and Ctrl V, so this, now I'll copy this one, Ctrl C, and I go to this our frame here and what, Ctrl V. Can you see that? Now I've been able to bring the picture into this frame. Now I don't want this thing at the back to keep showing, so I can remove it, or I just close it. If you close it like this, it closes. If you open it again, it opens, right? So you can do that. Now can you see that we have been able to bring this image into our frame and into our design. Now because I want to just add maybe a bit of life to it, I can bring in my shape. So it's not as if we are creating the shape. We are not creating any shape. There are shapes that you can get from different places, right? So I can just bring in this shape, Ctrl C, you click on your frame, and what's Ctrl V. Now I can just move it like this. Now you can see that the frame, the shape is on top of our picture, but that's not what we want. We want the shape to be at the back of our picture. Do you understand? We want the frame to be at the back of what? Of our picture. So now this one here, this This one is where we are currently on. Can you see this? So we can write shape, so we know that this one is the shape. Now this is shape. If we bring it down a bit, we can see that now the picture is showing, because this is our image. Can you see that? This is our image. Can you see the image here? And this is the shape. So to bring the shape back up again, you just drag it on top of this image. That's how you bring it up. But if you want to bring the shape back down so that the image will show, you drag the image down here. Can you see that? Are we understanding? Are we understanding? Are we good? Are we following? I hope I'm not too fast. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible so that we can all follow. Okay, I said 4. I'm going to remove the shape again. Let me remove the shape out of the picture, or out of the frame. Right now we have, okay, so now we want to bring this shape into this our design, Abby. So now what we are going to do is Control C, and you click on our frame. This is our frame, this is our design frame. Control V. Now I said that the shape is currently on top of our image, but we don't want it like that. We want the image to be on top of our shape. So this is currently where we are at. Can you see this? That's why it's highlighted. If I click on this now, you see that it's text that is highlighted. Can you see it? Now this is our image and this is the shape. Can you see this shape here? If you move it, this is the shape. That's why it's currently here. It's on top, but now we want the image to be beneath the image, like that. Do you understand? And now we have dragged it, and now the image is on top. Do you understand? So now we can now say, okay, let's play with colors, let's change the layout, or we can do anything we want to do. Do you get? But we have been able to understand how to simply play with colors, how to simply play with colors and make things look good. Right now, another thing is, can you see this shape? The shape is coming on top of this navigation, but I don't want it like that because it's looking weird, right? So this is our navigation bar. This is it here. So I'll rename it navigation. To rename, you can double tap like this and write nav bar. Right now the nav bar is where you see the shape here. Let me change the name. Shape. This is the shape, right? And this is the nav bar. So you drag the nav bar on top of the shape. Can you see it? Now you can see that the shape is now beneath what? The the shape is now beneath the nav bar, just as we wanted. So if you want to always make things on top or below, you just come here and drag it down. Can you see that? Or you can right click. So this is our image. There are two ways. You can either come here and drag it up or drag it down, or you can right click on something. For example, we can right click on the image like that, and then you can see bring to the front, send to the back. Do you understand? But I don't want that to confuse you, so I'm trying to use this as simple as possible. Do you get? As simple as possible. Do you understand? Are we clear? Okay, thank you. I want us to understand it very well. So now we have been able to bring the shape to the back, the image to the front, write our text, our subtext, and even our CTA button, which is good. Now what else do we need? Let's say we want to just change the color. If you want to change the color of this white, now what are we going to do? We click on this desktop which we created, and then we move here. It's currently FFF is white. So if I want to change it to maybe black, I'll just click on this white and drag it down. Can you see that? I've dragged it down, but I want us to be able to see the text up, so I can do it like this now. Now the next thing is I want to change the color of this black text and this one to what? To white. So I'll click on this one, I'll click on this text, and I'll come here and I'll change it to white. I'll click on this one and I change it to maybe another white, or maybe close to white like that. Now can you see it? Now if I want this shape at the back, which is this one here, if I want this shape here to be pink, I'll click on the shape, click on what? Fill, and then I change the color to what? So what's it not clicking? Okay, I'll just come here and change the color to maybe pink. Can you see that? Now I've been able to change, or a bit purple. So I've been able to change this color from what it was before to another color. Can you guys see what I've done now? So that's how you can easily just recreate something like I did. Do you get? I just played with colors here because I'm not trying to make it as beautiful as anything, but as for us to easily understand. Do you get? So this way you can easily understand how people create a hero section from the nav bar to the text, the subtext, and of course the buttons as well. And then you can see how people can bring in images, shapes, and all that just to make the their website or their hero section very fine or very aesthetic and useful. So one thing I'll just go back again before the end of this meeting is, number one, the first thing you need to do is what? Create click on F, which creates what? A frame. The second thing you need to do is click on T, which is a shortcut to create a text. And to duplicate, you can do Ctrl C and Ctrl V, and then that can duplicate a text for you or anything you want to do. Then I said to create a button, you can write the text first, and then you can click on Shift A. When you click on Shift A, it creates a button, and then that's how we were able to do the rest of the things. Do we all understand? Are we clear? We have 3 minutes before the end of the meeting. How to change color on the CTA also. Okay, if you want to change the color of the CTA now, this is the button. Right? If you want to change this color, as I said, it's currently pink. Can you see the fill? If I want to change it, so if I want it to be exactly this color, I can click on this color, sample color. Click on it and you tap on this. You see that the color has changed. So that's one way of clicking. How do you import pictures? Okay, that's a good question. So what I normally do is, I hope I'll be able to show you before the end of this call. Okay, so let's say I want to import a picture. I've already shown you how to create change background color. Now I said it's the same thing. You want to change the background color, click on frame, right? You can see that the color is currently black, and you click on this box here and you can change it to anything. Can you see that? That's how you change background color. But to import pictures, I hope I'll be able to show you. Let me see. Why is it not loading? Give me a second though. Okay, to import pictures, let's say we have Pinterest. I want to see how fast I can be. Let's say I want to import this picture from Pinterest. I can just open this one, copy image, cancel. Then I can just do what? Ctrl V, the same thing. Ctrl V, and I brought in my picture. That's how it is. And then you can now use your picture inside your frame. Can you see that? So that's just basically it. I think we have to join again, maybe for like just 10 minutes or something, so that if anybody has questions they can easily ask. I want everybody to be able to, you know, be put through. So I think I'll send a new meeting link on the group. So just as we're leaving this call, I'll create a new meeting link, and then we just join so that people can ask questions for like 15 minutes, and then we can now close the meeting. I hope that's fine, guys. Thumbs up. Okay, thank you. So I'll drop the meeting link now on the group. Please join again so that you can easily understand everything we did. I don't want it to be too fast for anybody. Okay, Okay, I'll send the group the what's it called, the link in the group now. Okay guys, see you in the next one. I don't know if is this still on. People are still here. How is this still on? Okay, it's over. So let me just cancel the meeting. I'll send a new link now. Alpha. Alpha.
Did you see my message?
I didn't see your message. What did you say?
So I'm saying that we should upload videos on YouTube.
Okay.
We upload your videos on YouTube so that people are complaining about not getting it right.
Okay.
So then they can even watch it tonight and then it gives us more views.
Okay. Oh yeah, now.
Tell them that we will put it after class.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
now.
I rest now.
No problem. No problem. Okay, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is still showing admit us. Should be able to admit everybody already. Admit. Okay, I think I'm really enjoying the class. Teaching is not easy. Eunice hates me. I'm actually enjoying the class, to be honest. I actually enjoy teaching. It's fun. It's not easy, sha. It's fun. Okay, are we good now? Can everybody hear me? Okay. So I think now, can you guys see my screen? No, I don't think so. I have to share it again. Oh, someone said I was too fast. I was because of time. Oh. It's because of time. I'm trying to not waste people's time as well. So please bear with me as I bear with you. I was trying to actually keep the 1 hour timing, but you have to bear with me. Okay, I guess we're back again. Okay, so I want people to drop comments so that I know exactly what what issues we had or where we are not clear at, so that I can come in and try to be of help. Okay, so I want you guys to drop comments on what you did not get and what you got, so that I can be able to know exactly how to be of help. Nobody dropping it. That means everybody understood. Okay, I see that this class is smart. I love this. You guys are fast learners. Okay, where can we get images from? Okay, this person says I need to see how to change the city text color and also where to get shapes from. How can we get images? Okay, I just showed you one, but there's so many places, right? Let me give you guys an instance, right? So let me just go to, let me bring this here. You can see my screen, right? Okay, so if you want to get images, I use Unsplash, UNSPLASH. S, I say split, SPLASH, right? Try to click on it. On splash, right? So here you can get images. Can you see? You have different images here. So you can just go to maybe something that is not paid for. So let's say I want to check maybe models, for instance. Models. You can see different models. You can see different models, right? So let's say I want to use this girl. I can come here, right click, copy the image, and I just go back to Figma, and I want control what's V. That's it. And sorry, and now I have an image. Right, if I want to remove the background color, the way I remove this one, if I want to remove the background color, something easy that can help you is a plugin called remove bg, but I'm sure some of us already even know it's removing of background, right? So you can come here, can you see this main menu, click on, see my cursor, then look at it here. Not all the images on Unsplash are free. Not all images. You can get some images on Unsplash that are free, some are not. That's to Olayemi that asked. So here we can click on this. You see plugin here, right? So I've already saved it before, but if you want to type it for your new time, or for the first time rather, you can click on manage plugins. Yeah, then it brings about this, and then you can, sorry, I don't know why that's removed. I'll go back again, plugin, go to manage plugin, and then you type what, remove space bg, and you see this is the first one, so you just click on it and click on run. Now it's going to remove the background of this picture. Can you see that? Now it has removed the background of the picture. And then if I want to put that image here instead of this one, I'll just drag this one away like that and bring this one into the frame like that. But it's not, this is not exactly how an image should be though, but you know, I'm just using this as an example. Alright, so that's how you bring images into your design. Right, you can copy it from anywhere. Just make sure that you're not copying a licensed image or something, right? And then you can use it in your design. Once it's a free image, you're good to go. Don't go and copy somebody's work. There you go. So you can change that. You can move the shape up, change the design like that. So we can have like so many different examples and designs, and that's how you can play with colors. I can change the color of this shop now, this text. If I double tap on it, you can see it is, what's the fill? Black. This 000 is black. FFFF is white. So if I want to change the color of this text to white, I can just click this and I change it to white. Can you see that? That's just it. So that way, you can always change colors. So can you see that? That's how I was able to create this and create this as well. I created all this and I made it as simple as possible. So were we able to understand? I want to be seeing thumbs up, I want to be seeing comments. Were we able to understand? Damilola understands, JJ understands, Kelvin understands. Okay. Zoana, I'm coming to shapes. Eunice understands. I'm glad. That's great. So someone was saying about shapes. I don't want everybody to be so I don't want you to do everything at the same time, but I'm just going to put you through. I did it so that the design can actually come out, but I don't want everybody to be so like, oh, how do we do this? How do we do this? Like at the same time, so that you get it slowly, right? What I'll do is, if you want to actually bring in shapes into your design, there's something called Figma community. So there is a place where people share free resources to people, and then you can just use those things for your product, right? You don't necessarily have to, if it's like a design, you don't have to go and copy exactly what people are doing, but you can go there, take some shapes and different things. So now, where did I get this shape from? I actually got it from Figma community. So what I'm going to do is, you can go to home, this home button here, click on home. I will cancel this. I don't know why it's loading. Cancel this. Now click on shapes. I search it. Oh, I didn't tell you how to go to the Figma community. You click on this community here. Can you see this community? Once you click on it, then you can search. Now, can you see different shapes that we have already? People have put different shapes in the